I'm doing here, guys, is on your third journal between the girdle and the main cap, and I can't remember which way we're going, so I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's this little oil passageway right here, and apparently there's a known issue as far as if that loses its seal, you lose oil pressure. So rather than risk it, I've got a brand new Honda Genuine O-ring for that. I'm just going to double check the catalog, make sure this is the right O-ring, because it is a little bit smaller than the one I just pried out. But yeah, if you guys are in here, it's a good piece of insurance. I think the O-ring's only a couple bucks. I think $3 or $7 from Honda. Go ahead and just replace it, be safe, and then we'll get back to putting this thing together. Okay, now we're just putting in the lower half of our main bearings, making sure they're nice and clean and dry before we seat them. Then we're going to give them a liberal amount of our assembly lube mix. Give it a nice free spin, make sure it's nice and loose. Then we're going to make sure that our cap bolts are well lubricated as well, both below the head, either side of the washer, and the threads. Don't use too much oil on the threads, otherwise you could risk hydrolocking them, and that would not give you a consistent torque reading when you go to tighten these down. Here we are just snugging them up with the speed wrench, getting ready for our first round of torquing. Okay, so we've got our half-inch drive, 6.14. We've got our handy-dandy torque wrench. We are set at 22 foot-pounds for our first torque. And we are going to go in factory specified order. So I don't know when I'm going to edit this. There is going to be a clip. I may just put it in right now, but directly underneath this passageway between the girdle and the cap there is an O-ring, and that was that part number I showed, 91323 PH7003. It is a little bit taller, kind of flat O-ring that sits in that groove, and you want to make sure anytime you've got this bottom end apart, just replace it, guys. If you got it, you're in there, it's peace of mind. It is a oil galley that is under pressure, and I know a lot of guys have figured out that when they lose pressure that O-ring there inside is the culprit. So always good to have oil pressure. I don't want to say the more the better, but definitely don't want to be dropping any oil pressure. So that being said, let's get to it. Alright, nothing really special going on here, guys. Just doing the crisscross inside out torque method for our first round, making sure we don't have any snags. Alright, so that's our first torque spec down. We're going to step it up to for my own peace of mind, I'm actually going to go to 55. More of the same here, just making sure we follow the same pattern we did before. Inside out in a crisscross pattern as dictated by the factory. Okay. Rotating assembly torqued. I'm sorry I didn't get footage of stretching the rod bolts. Once I figured out what my roadblock was, my mental roadblock, I kind of just knuckled up and did it. So wasn't a whole lot to see other than fumbling around with the stretch gauge and a lot of going back and forth. So we're going to give it a rotation. Oh, that's like butter, guys. I wish you could just feel how smooth, no matter where in the rotation it is. There's just the same equal tension from the rings. Yeah, that skim coat of oil we have on the journals, and no matter what speed we run it at. So I have some high hopes now for our assembly here. So I think that's going to be it tonight. So I hadn't intended to share the video tonight, but I did have a lot of footage, and I wanted to let everybody know where we were at on the project. So got the rod bolt stretch issue figured out, as well as our mains tightened up, torqued, and ready to roll. Our rotating assembly is complete. Got a lot of little small button-up stuff on the internals, and then we're onto the cylinder head and getting that all snugged up. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet. Feel free to share the video with your friends, and hit that notification bell as well. Once again, thanks. This is Tilted Shamrock, out.